This is how to sow and grow perennial herbs. Now these are wonderful things to grow because you're going to sow them once and you're going to have them in your garden for many, many years to come. Now these are herbs like sage, oregano, marjoram, mint and thyme. You're going to want to start these herbs indoors around March to May time. And I'm starting mine in small pots of peat-free multi-purpose compost. Once you fill the pot, just give it a tap. That gets rid of any air spaces that are further down in the pot. If you push the soil down, it can become compacted and then it can be hard for the very tiny roots of the seedlings to penetrate. Now you want your compost to be about 1 centimetre below the rim of the pot, and then you're going to give it a water so that it's nice and moist before you put the seeds on, and therefore the seeds can't wash away. And then take your seed and sprinkle it very, very sparingly onto the surface of the compost. Now I say so sparingly because you've got to be really realistic about how many herb plants you want. You don't want an entire bed filled with these things. As a general rule, 1 to 3 plants is usually enough for most families. And once you've got your seed on there, you're just going to very gently sprinkle some more compost over the top. You're aiming to have your seed about 1/2 centimetre deep, and then give it another water. Once you've sown your seed, you're going to want to put it somewhere warm and light. Perennial herbs usually take around 2 to 3 weeks to germinate, but some can take much longer. So make sure you check the seed packet so you know what to expect. And you can also sow all the perennial herbs in autumn time in order to overwinter them in an unheated greenhouse or polytunnel and plant out the following spring. Just remember that you will still need to sow them in the warm because they'll still need that 20 degrees centigrade in order to germinate. Once the seedlings are up and thriving, they can be grown on in cooler conditions like the unheated greenhouse or polytunnel. Just be careful to protect them if you get an unexpectedly really hard frost. And then you're going to want to plant them out after your last frost date, but harden them off in advance of that. That means gradually acclimatizing them to the outside world. So on the first day, maybe they spend an hour outside. On the second day, perhaps they spend 2 hours outside. And this means that they can gradually get used to things like wind and direct sunlight that they haven't really experienced before. And then you're going to want to plant all the perennial herbs out into full sun. A lot of these come from places like the Mediterranean, so they will love as much sun as you can give them. Now, one thing to bear in mind when you're planting things out is that mint and lemon balm are both invasive. They will spread like crazy. So these 2 varieties are best always grown in containers. But if you're growing something like mountain mint, which is our non-spreading mint, you do not need to worry about that. And from that point onwards, these perennial herbs should be relatively low maintenance. They don't require a lot of care, and a lot of them are very drought tolerant as well. Harvesting regularly will encourage lots of tender bushy growth and prevent them from becoming woody. And remember that any excess that you harvest, you can dry and store in an airtight container for cooking in winter. So perennial herbs, a massive investment in your future garden. They will reward you for many, many years to come from just one sowing. And if you want to look at our full range of perennial herbs, check out our website at shegrowsveg.com.